Let me get a 5900X
Yeah.
Ryzen.
Yeah.
The computer worked fine with the old 3700X in it.
Right.
Took it apart. I know I did everything correctly. I watched a ton of videos, read
Right.
stuff. You know,
Yeah.
it's not rocket science.
Right.
Swapping out
No,
CPU.
correct.
I didn't do. I thought I did something. I updated the motherboard.
Right.
I never did anything with BIOS.
Right.
That's probably where I went wrong.
Okay, well, let's see it.
Okay.
Okay, so I like to record my interactions. You're all right with that?
Yeah, no
Just
problem.
don't divulge phone numbers and passwords. We're
No,
good.
no.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do, we're on camera right now. If you
Okay.
want to be on camera, that's fine. If not, that's fine also.
Okay.
All right, so this is a monster. Let me,
Yeah. I think.
all right. Let's see. Okay, so what does it actually do? Does it
Nothing.
literally turn on?
No display. Yeah, the components and everything turn on. All the RGB and everything's going. No display.
Right.
No keyboard. No mouse.
Got it.
Can't
My
get into
goodness.
BIOS. Not that I know much about
That's fine. All right.
that.
Okay, so what you did was swap out the CPU?
Correct.
Okay, are we sure that you're very careful, because that's a very delicate part?
I tried to be as ridiculously careful as. I mean,
All right, so you haven't seen anything display since you swapped it out?
no.
Got it. All right, so when you swapped it out, you just did an upgrade. You didn't, of course, you couldn't do anything to the hard drive because
Correct.
you couldn't install anything without a display.
I literally carefully, pulled the old CPU out.
Right.
All the pins were there. Looked
Right.
at the new one. All the pins were intact.
Yes.
Carefully lowered it where the two arrows matched up,
Yes.
and put the thermal paste on.
Yes.
I mean, everything, it dropped in beautifully, just as, as you read and see.
Got it.
Because that was, I was nervous about swapping that part because I
Yeah.
know how delicate it is.
It's actually the most resilient because it's the least, it's the most reliable part of a computer.
Really?
But obviously the most delicate.
Okay.
So if it gets dropped or static electricity gets it, it's a destroyed part.
Yeah, and I put on the,
Or if it's installed backwards. Yeah.
I put on that static.
Static discharge?
Yeah.
Well, here at the beach where the air is damp, it's not so much a big deal. If we were in
Okay.
Las Vegas, it'd be a bigger issue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, basically static electricity is a big issue in general, but when we're blocks from the ocean, it's,
Gotcha.
I mean, unless we had an unusually cold, dry day,
Mhm.
that's where the issues ensue.
I guess what I was trying to point out to you is that I tried to be absolutely as careful as possible
Got it.
doing this, and it's really disheartening that this
Right.
happened. 'Cause
Which CPU did you go from and are
I
you
went
on
from
now?
a Ryzen 7 3700X to a Ryzen 9
Got it.
5900X.
Right, I would almost kind of expect that not to boot because Windows might not recognize the CPU
Okay,
because of the way the software makes marriages to the hardware.
gotcha.
But the fact is, it should at least boot to the post.
It didn't do
And it's
anything.
not getting there.
Yeah, no display.
Got it. All
And I
right.
went down the rabbit hole of, watching everybody else troubleshoot, and I
Right.
pulled out the RAM, and
Right.
then I put all the RAM back.
Yeah.
I mean, everything should, component-wise, it should be
Correct.
together,
Yeah, it
but-
doesn't look like there's it. Well, I mean, obviously there's only about 10 parts in a computer,
Yeah.
but we're gonna basically turn this thing on. Where's the power button on this thing?
Right at the push button right there. At the
Way
top.
up here. All right. So it does turn on, but we don't get a display, right?
Correct.
All right. So let's let it sit. And you did try to turn it on with the RAM modules removed,
I did.
and they're all lighting up.
Yeah, I
Right.
tried them in different spots, do a single, tried to do the first and the third. I tried all that troubleshooting with the RAM and
Right.
nothing.
And you tried this. This CPU does not. So that CPU that you mentioned, I don't think will work without a graphics card. So we can't pull the GPU out and hope
No.
for graphics.
Correct. yeah.
Right. So let's let it sit for about 10 more seconds.
Okay.
Based on the fact that you are kind of skilled and your description, I'd say the first thing we should do is probably just open up the CPU, pull this heatsink, and I can confirm that it's not damaged and it's not installed backwards or anything.
Okay.
When you looked at it, did you make sure that the logo was in the same direction as the one that you pulled out?
I thought so, yeah,
Right.
because I knew that was a big deal, obviously.
Right. Yeah, it's just, yeah, okay, cool. So I've let this sit. We know we're working with good HDMI, good monitor, probably good video card. Everything's lighting up like it ought to, and we don't have any display. Just for giggles, I want to plug into here just to see. Yeah, that's not going to do anything. All right, so let's just go ahead and fire it off.
Oh man, I want to pull out the CPU.
We're going to have to because that's where it's looking.
It's you're not going to be happy how I got the card in there. It was very difficult.
This case looks, oh man, yeah, you got to raise.
There's a
Right.
An RGB plug that barely fits underneath that air cooler.
Right. Okay, so yeah, at this point, yeah, we're just going to have to.
That's what I figured.
Are we able to, we don't necessarily, it doesn't look like we necessarily speaking have to remove the graphics card. Because I can just do these two screws right here. Just remove the RAM and then pull the heatsink, right?
Could do that.
You think we have that room? I'm not familiar with this case.
Well, yeah, alright, so
Let me turn the lights on. Yeah. That's what we're gonna have to do.
we can pull the plug. It's just this I really had to modify.
Yeah, that's
this.
why I'm not excited about getting
Yeah,
into.
I know.
It looks like if we just see that screw there,
Yeah.
and that screw right
Well, I
there.
got to pull this cover off. the
Right.
fan. It's like a shroud that comes off.
Got it.
And then it's the screw and the screw.
Okay, how does this go out?
So,
Where's this
just
screw? Oh, it's just magnetically held. It's not screwed in. Got it. Okay, let me get you a screwdriver. Put that aside so it's out of our way.
All right.
So it looks like this is on with a Phillips. Yeah, I guess you're gonna have to remove. Are you able to remove the RAM? Yeah, you are. You can get your thumb under there,
Okay.
and then
I'll pull out this. I'll disconnect the two 8-pins.
right. Yeah, we just need access to that one Phillips to get rid of the heatsink. Oh, what was that? Was that the video card? It sounded. Oh, it's that.
I don't know what that pop was, to be honest. Oh, it could have been the shroud.
It sounded like it came from over here.
I know.
Okay, so
Maybe I should stand it up.
if that's what you're more comfortable with. Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
there we go.
Got it. Yeah, yeah.
Because this,
Right.
like, I had to kind of modify this.
Do we have to do more than this one screw? It looks like this one screw might be enough. Let's see.
No, there's another screw.
Okay, let me get this one.
Yeah, I'm positive there's another screw.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with this exact Arctic heatsink, although it feels pretty loose here. Let's see. Yeah, so
Yeah,
we're
there's
gonna.
another, so this
Oh, there's
pop-
one underneath the RAM.
I gotta pop this shroud off, so I gotta pull. Hold on a minute. There's
There's
another
gotta be
screw.
one more, yeah. Actual screw.
There is.
Got it.
So there's this RAM.
How do you get to that other screw?
I'll show you.
So this whole shroud is covering up that other screw.
Yeah, it pops off. Let me show you. It's kind of. a pain.
Yeah, I've not done this exact. This case is a higher end case than usual. Okay, do you want to lock down that one screw again, or?
Well,
Yeah, that's weird. Where's that other screw?
it's, you know what? Let's lock down that screw so I
Yeah.
can pull the shroud off. Just
Straight up. Got it.
It pops out
Right.
forward.
Right.
It's not like those other ones. Alright, so that's on there.
So the shroud technically isn't screwed down.
No.
The shroud is just an air shroud. It's not. I'm not even seeing where that other screw is.
Yeah, you'll see in a minute here.
I hate hearing noises like that. It's all it's intimidating.
It is, and then like.
So unplug this fan. So it's a fan and a shroud.
Mhm.
Got it.
But I've got this kind of buried.
Good.
So I mean.
Oh, this other cable is.
Yeah, and
oh,
I
heck.
don't have much.
So let's just do this.
Okay.
We'll hang this over here. I
Alright.
guess we don't. How much slack is on? Oh, there we go. So we've got
Oh,
some
okay.
slack.
There we go. There we go. Alright.
Good. Okay. Good. So go ahead and pull this. Okay. So yeah, just be gentle. Yeah, you got a riser already.
Hmm?
No, I'm just commenting on the fact that you got a riser card for the graphics card.
Oh, yeah, cause I
Right.
wanted to mount it vertically to show it. I'm into that stupid RGB crap.
That's fine.
I know the serious
No,
folks.
I mean, most gamers, they're not really technical. I get these machines in here all the time.
I went a little too much on the.
Well, not that, I mean, you're not gonna damage it by putting too much grease on there. But yeah, it's a little excessive. Okay, so what we wanna do is, the logo's going, so we're reading it this way. So it is, as far as my perspective goes, good. I wanna get a plastic, oh, there's a plastic sponger right here. I don't wanna put a screwdriver on the motherboard. Let's see here. Good. Okay, so now we're gonna be gentle about, oh, I'm gonna get all greasy.
Sorry.
It's alright, let me find a paper towel here. Paper towel.
Yeah, I just don't understand why the hell this isn't working.
Yeah, well, I think your issue is probably a configuration issue. That's the other thing. Let's hope you didn't get any grease on the underside of the CPU.
Jesus, I hope
Because
not.
that would, you're not going to electrically fry anything, but because it's non-conductive, it'll just stop a circuit. So, let me find a safe place to put this. Oh, we'll do it here. Oh, I put that there so we don't scratch the machine. We'll use this other one so we can have a safe place to put the CPU. Okay. Yeah, it should be falling off in my hand, and it's not. I'm pulling kind of tightly. It should just kind of lift up.
Really?
So, I'm wondering if, not that you jammed it in, but this thermal paste is kind of acting like a glue. It should not be that hard to pull out.
No, the other one came out without
Yeah.
really
Yeah, you can tell right now. I think what I want to do is undo these screws just in case if this little thing needs to be beyond vertical.
Okay.
Your little kickstand here
Okay.
might need to come more towards me
Okay.
before we get to,
You know what? I think I think I did move that out of the way now that I'm thinking about it.
yeah, I think that if we're real lucky, this kickstand comes more towards me, which will unlock
I think
it.
that's what it was. I think I just
Yeah,
moved this one.
I'm
out
sounding
of the way.
dreary already. Good. Okay, good.
There we go.
Good. That's the sort of. Okay, I don't see any damage.
Yeah, what the hell?
There's nothing bent.
And I put it in correctly, right?
Yeah, I don't see any thermal paste on the wrong side of the CPU either.
Like I said, this worked completely in the configuration
Yeah.
that you see when I had the 3700 in there.
So all we did was a CPU upgrade.
Correct.
Okay, that goes that way. Let's make sure. Oh, good. Yeah, okay, so just so you know, you did have it correct.
Okay.
You see that gold arrow?
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a little molded plastic arrow in there you can see
Yeah.
in that. So
It was.
I wish they would make things a little more obvious, but you didn't make that mistake.
Yeah.
So it wasn't installed properly or jammed. So all we can do at this point is, I have seen it where we get lucky and all it needs is a good reseat.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and reseat that stud. And then put the shroud back on.
Do we have to put new paste on there?
No, you already got a lot on there.
Okay.
If it were older paste, that paste does sort of expire, it gets brittle.
Okay.
But at this point, it's a new installation, and you already had so much under there that, yeah. In this case, it's better to go over than more is better than less.
Gotcha.
It's not the old less is more. I mean, if you did this regularly, you'd get really good at it. It's almost like a mechanic who doesn't need a torque wrench because he knows how hard to.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Alright.
Good.
That's on there. I need to put this, and that's plenty, that's all
Oh
big
yeah,
enough?
yeah. It's a little excessive, but hey, that's fine.
Yeah, this is gonna be the
It's not like it was so bad that you got it dripping onto the motherboard.
Gotcha. God, this is gonna be fun, getting the shroud on.
Well, I'm wondering if we have to reseat that video card. Because I don't normally work with those riser cards.
Well, it worked fine on the,
Right, what's this red part of that? Is that like a,
what, back here?
yeah,
It's just the riser, like the cable that's in the,
okay, it looks like a rubber molded something.
it's just, I had to change over to a PCIe 4,
Right,
cause I had the last card. Yeah, I'm trying to show off the card, cause it's
Right.
got all that RGB on there.
right.
I think that's all right.
Yeah, that's a straightforward CPU heatsink. It doesn't look like it when you put the shroud on. But you get that Arctic, I don't know what model that is.
I think it's like 35 something, or?
Right, okay, so for testing purposes, we can hold off on the fan.
Okay.
Not having the fan, we can leave it on for a minute and not worry about burning anything up. Let's plug the auxiliary power in. If we're really lucky. How much RAM is in there? You took half of it out.
Oh yeah, I should put that back in.
Well, not necessarily for troubleshooting. In fact, I would say be a minimalist and only install the bare minimums. So let's just leave those two in there.
Okay.
I mean, it could be that one of those chips just needed a good reset, or, yeah, well, I know they all lit, implying that they were all plugged in, but sometimes you just need to reseat RAM.
Okay.
So let's go from here. Turn that on. Plug in the HDMI again. Yeah, that's recessed HDMI.
Yeah, you run the display ports usually.
Right. I don't have a display port.
No, that's
oh,
cool.
look, okay, so we got the HDMI. We got display there. Let's turn it on. That's weird. The HDMI did some handshaking. The monitor saw it.
Yeah, it did that on mine at home. Like I got that. Like it showed like display port.
Right.
But
Yeah. Give it a second. Do you still have the old CPU?
I didn't bring it with me. But
Okay,
yeah.
well, one of my theories is that sometimes you'll have to update the BIOS for it to support the later and greater CPU. Let's do some research right now and figure out what this motherboard supports,
Okay.
what you have versus what you had, and what it can actually go to.
Okay. You want me to turn it off?
Well, let's let it sit for a minute.
Okay.
Let's just, yeah, go ahead and turn it off. It
Because
should
I
have
know
given
it's
us a
gonna
post. Yeah, it should have at least given us a post. So,
It's saying that it
what motherboard is that?
it's the Asus X570P.
Asus. What is it?
Asus 5X.
Five.
Asus X570.
Well, the X
570.
570 P as in Paul.
Mhm.
CPU support. Okay, so you have the which Ryzen?
The 9
The
5900X. I think it's like the AM4 socket.
Got it. 5,
But I think you're right in terms of
7.
the BIOS should have been updated before.
First.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that if you
I
bring
think
me
that's
the,
what it is.
let's do that. Bring me the old CPU. Well, let's watch it work. We'll do the CPU update,
Okay.
and then we'll go from there. So you say this is the 9. I've got a list of all the CPUs this motherboard supports.
Yes, the
So it's
Ryzen 9 59
5900.
5900X. which
There,
is that one
yes.
right there.
Oh.
Yeah.
is it telling us already? Well, it's telling us what the CPU it supports up to 3.7 gigahertz. But what it's not telling us is what BIOS it requires. But yeah, anytime you do a CPU upgrade,
I think
I'd
that's
say-
where I fucked up.
But yeah, I don't think you fucked up. I think what the problem is that these companies aren't
Sorry.
it's fine. Some of the YouTubers I watch, they throw the F-bomb more than Joe Rogan.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I think what you wanna do is, my issue is that they should have articulated in writing, make sure you're
They
updated.
probably did. That's probably my oversight.
Nah, you call it, yeah, well, I think you're giving yourself less credit than you deserve. They should have articulated in writing somewhere that you should probably do the BIOS update,
Okay,
because they don't necessarily articulate what needs to be said.
gotcha.
So let's do that. I'll be here the rest of the day,
Okay, how late are you here today?
until about 6 usually.
All right.
I did have a phone call. They were requesting me to run down to the village and help them with a little quick printer issue.
Okay.
So if I'm not here, I'm probably a mile away.
Okay. I live like in El Segundo.
Yeah.
I can run home, get the chip.
Yeah, come right back.
Yeah, I might have to bring the chip,
Yeah,
leave for a minute to go to the Toyota dealership
Yeah.
because I have a scheduled maintenance there.
Yeah.
And I could come back. Or worst
let's
case.
bring the car back so that way.
So I'll just go get the chip, come
take
back.
care of the car.
Okay.
then
Well,
just come back
I
here.
don't take it to them until 3:30. That's the
That's
only
fine. I'll be
issue.
here.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
I'm
I
here
gotta
until
go-
6ish anyway.
Okay.
I think let's not get add anxiety to the situation and just
Okay.
do this one trip more.
Okay.
So take care of your car. You're going to Manhattan Toyota?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Okay. All right. In worst case, I'll have them drop me off here and
Yeah,
then
either
pick
way.
me up from here.
All right, yeah.
So, okay. All right. Cool.
Or you can do a one-way Uber.
Well, no, they'll pay to drop me off.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, they said like.
Sweet. Yeah, they do good service. They just rebuilt my Scion engine.
Oh, great. All
Yeah.
right. They seem very friendly. So-
Yeah.
All right.
No,
So I'm
no.
gonna go home, grab the chip. I'll go straight to the dealership and just see if they can take it early.
Right.
And then see if they'll drop me off here.
Perfect.
All right. Cool. Hey, thanks a lot, man.
I'll
I
be
really
here.
appreciate
Thanks.
it. Thank you.
All right. Stay tuned for part